Good morning, America. I'm Charles Gibson.
I'm Diane Sawyer, and it's Tuesday, September 11th, 2001.
It is lunchtime in London, 5 a.m. in Los Angeles, and 8 a.m. here in New York, live from the CNN Financial News headquarters.
It is beautiful outside, perfect September day with lots of sunshine. Oh, would you look at Washington, huh? I'm going outside today.
Other than that, it's kind of quiet around the country. We like quiet. It's quiet. It's too quiet.
Number 2.
Yeah. This just in, you were looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center.
A la espera de mayores informaciones, saber qué fue lo que ocurrió, cómo fue que
Apparently, a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center in New York.
現在私、貿易センタービルから1キロほど北にあります国連本部の
It does not appear that there's any kind of an effort up there yet. Now remember, oh my God.
Oh my God.
That looks like a second plane.
I did not see a plane go in. That just exploded.
We just saw another plane coming in from the side.
You did. That was out of absolutely.
Yes, and that's the second explosion. You could see the plane come in just from the right-hand side of the screen. So this looks like it is some sort of a concerted effort to attack the World Trade Center that is underway.
Running away very, very quickly. There are more explosions further down the building.
This is so shocking, of course, to everybody watching.
I've never seen anything like it. It literally blew itself into World Trade Center.
The building's exploding right now. You got people running up the street.
David, we're going to have to cut you off. President Bush is speaking.
Today, we've had a national tragedy. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
And the Pentagon is being evacuated. There is a large fire there, and that is the smoke you see in the shot that you're looking at now.
It appears that an aircraft of some sort did hit the side of the Pentagon.
That's a very haunting description that Bob Kerr just gave of that low-flying aircraft near the White House, and one can only wonder if that was something that ultimately ended up in the Pentagon.
We just saw a live picture of what seemed to be a portion of the building falling away.
Wow.
And some people were...
Jamie, I need you to stop for a second. There has just been a huge explosion. We can see a billowing smoke rising, and I'll tell you that I can't see that second tower, but there was a cascade of sparks and fire, and now it looks almost like a mushroom cloud explosion.
Let's go to the trade tower again, because, John, we now have what do we have? We don't...
It looks like a new large plume of smoke.
Only one tower is standing. The other has collapsed.
Thanks very much, Dan.
Completely collapsed.
The whole side has collapsed?
The whole building has collapsed.
The whole building has collapsed?
The building has collapsed.
Heard a big bang, and then we saw smoke coming out, and everybody started running out, and we saw the plane on the other side of the building, and there was smoke everywhere, and people are jumping out the windows. Over there, they're jumping out the windows, I guess because they're trying to save themselves. I don't know.
And there's, you can see, perhaps the second tower, the front tower, the top portion of which is collapsing. Good Lord. There are no words.
There's a haze everywhere. It's very, very difficult to see, but there has been the whole area has been covered by soot and ash. So it looks almost like snow. So as people are coming up the street running from the scene of this new explosion.
所有飞往纽约和华盛顿的客机都已转飞加拿大的机场。
I'm going to interrupt you, Senator McCain. These are the first pictures we have in. This is from Somerset County, Pennsylvania. This is where the United Airlines flight, I believe it is 176, went down.
Hillary, I need to interrupt you. This is a Taliban spokesman talking now in Kabul, I believe.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
قبل دقائق من افتتاح وول ستريت الذي انهار تماما بعد أن التهمته النيران. أول تعليق لمكتب التحقيقات الفيدرالي أشار إلى أن طائرة البوينغ اختطفت من مطار بوسطن.
Most people remember the 9/11 attack, and most people know that Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda ultimately took responsibility for the attack. But why? Why would they kill so many innocent people? What do they have against us?
In November 2002, Osama bin Laden wrote a letter to America. In it, he describes his reasons and justifications for the 9/11 attack. He answers one of the questions that many of us really don't understand. Why do they hate America so much? What do they blame us for?
Why do they blame America? They blame America for support of Israel, attack in Somalia, support of Russia in Chechnya, and support of what they call Jewish aggression in Lebanon. According to Osama bin Laden, he's justified in attacking the United States because, in his words, Allah, the Almighty, legislated the permission and the option to take revenge. Thus, if we are attacked, then we have the right to attack back. Whoever has destroyed our villages and towns, then we have the right to destroy their villages and towns. Whoever has stolen our wealth, then we have a right to destroy their economy. And whoever has killed our civilians, then we have a right to kill theirs. So why does Al-Qaeda consider American civilians the enemy? Because we as Americans in our democracy have free will, and because we choose to support Israel instead of Palestine. Because the American people and their tax dollars fund the planes and bombs that we used against them. And because, of course, our military is made up of American people which attack them. Osama bin Laden believes that Islam is the religion of the unification of God. To him, you are either for Islam or against Islam, and by attacking those who choose not to believe, he is helping the religion reign supreme. He, of course, does not speak for all of the Muslim community, but chooses to interpret verses such as these as his reasoning for attacking non-believers.
A painful return, a decade on from 9/11.
Tom Canavan. Tom, what happened, man? Big boom. Come down the steps, everything fine till we got to the basement, and then everything just fell in. I got trapped under there with another guy, crawled out, kept getting hit in the head, hit bags all around. Finally, we clawed our way out over the rubble. Come on, we did all right.
All right, way to be, Tom. Let's go.
The same man, the same street, but both very different 10 years apart.
There's only 20 of us that were buried. I'm one of those 20 people that managed to get out of here alive. There has to be another reason I'm here. I don't want to go through the pressure of it. I don't question why. When it's your time, it'll be your time, no matter where you are, what you're doing. I'm a big believer in that. And with all the therapy I had to go through to help me, what I realized is you can't change the past. You can't worry about the future. So the only thing you have is right now. So you make the most of what you can do right now.
Tom worked on the 47th floor in the North Tower. He was leaving with 4 co-workers when the South Tower collapsed, although just a few feet away they were buried and killed.
After 10 years, and it seems like yesterday, you know, the physical pain is gone, long gone. The mental pain, that anguish still is every day. You hear certain noises, certain smells, a plane flies over, it comes back. It'll never go away, so.
He now volunteers at the 9/11 Tribute Center, describing it as part of the healing process. Jean and Dan Potter back in Manhattan. She walked down 81 floors of the North Tower in high heels, her husband a firefighter. Their lives changed irrevocably.
It's hard to come back because, you know, for us we feel the 3,000 souls that perished that day. But to see this magnificent tower going up, I say, we rose again from the rubble.
They couldn't bear to stay in their home in Battery Park, once in the shadow of the towers.
Unfortunately, we had to move from New York City as we faced the towers. We couldn't get home for weeks, and when we did, it was too heartbreaking to remain.
Survivors left asking questions as to why they'd been saved. Former janitor William Rodriguez helped lead many to safety in his North Tower.
I have the survivor's guilt. Why did I survive and my friends didn't? And it became basically the motivating force of what I do as an activist right now, because then I realized that I have to be the voice for those who died.
9/11 changing him forever too. He's now an advocate for 9/11 victims and their families and the rights of immigrants.
From that day, what really matters is that you have something important in your life, and it's your friends and your family. There's nothing else. You know, it's not your job, how much money you make, it's just your family and your friends.
Charlie Hebdo is a satirical French weekly. In the last month alone, it has published a cartoon of a dog having sex with the leg of François Hollande, that's the president of France, and the Virgin Mary giving birth to a pig-nosed Jesus. The magazine was founded in 1992 on a left-wing, anti-religious platform. A decade ago, Charlie Hebdo had as many as 140,000 subscribers. By last year, that had declined to 50,000. In 2006, Charlie Hebdo published a series of cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad weeping, for example, and a cover of the Prophet saying, "It's hard being loved by idiots." The issue drew attention and lawsuits, and Charlie Hebdo continued to show the Prophet. They put him on the cover in 2011 with the title, 100 Lashes If You Don't Die of Laughter. That year, the magazine's headquarters were firebombed at night. On January 7th, at least 12 journalists and illustrators were shot in Charlie Hebdo's offices. The week's issue had featured an interview with Michel Houellebecq, a novelist who warned of the Islamization of France. Many of Charlie Hebdo's cartoons came from the pen of Stéphane Charbonnier, known as Charb. He served as editor of Charlie Hebdo from 2009 until he, too, was gunned down. In an interview with Le Monde in 2012, Charbonnier considered his own death. "I don't have kids, no wife, no car, no credit," he said. "It might be a little pompous to say it, but I prefer to die standing instead of living on my knees."
The attack. Two brothers forced their way into the offices of the French satirical weekly newspaper Charlie Hebdo in Paris, armed with assault rifles and other weapons. They killed 12 people and injured 11 others in the building. After leaving, they killed a French national police officer outside the building. The gunmen identified themselves as belonging to the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda branch in the Yemen, who were responsible for the attack.
Terror in the heart of Paris. Masked and heavily armed, two men entered the building in the centre of the French capital late this morning and began firing. By the time they'd stopped, at least 12 people were dead. Many others were seriously injured. The police were quickly on the scene, only to come under attack themselves. Images posted on social media capture the drama. Eyewitnesses have been describing what they saw.
A neighbour called to warn me that there were armed men in the building and that we had to shut all the doors. And several minutes later there were several shots heard in the building from automatic weapons, firing in all directions. It was really upsetting. You'd think it was a war zone.
Charlie Hebdo, a satirical magazine, has been attacked before. Just over 3 years ago, its premises were firebombed after it published a caricature of the Prophet Muhammad. Shortly after this morning's attack, the French president came to issue a message of defiance on behalf of his nation.
This is an act of an exceptional barbarism that has just happened here in Paris against a newspaper. A newspaper means free speech against journalists who have always endeavored to show that in France you can operate to defend their ideas.
The gunmen escaped in a stolen car. They're now being pursued by the police across Paris. John Brain, BBC News.
The freedom of speech after the Paris attack was seen as a very important thing, since the Charlie Hebdo magazine had been making cartoons and expressing the point of view over several religions. Even though the image was symbolized as being bad, nobody had the right to kill anyone else just for that, since the idea of the cartoonist was to have fun and make fun without seeing any boundaries between any religion or race. The fact that we have the freedom of speech, many people will think differently about different religions and conflict will occur. We criticize each other too much to decide that the Charlie Hebdo cartoon was offensive to the public sphere. This cartoon had been making contribution to the public debate to the point of civility.
On January 7th, masked gunmen attacked the offices of Charlie Hebdo in Paris. They killed 12 people and wounded at least 11 others. Charlie Hebdo is a satirical French weekly publication that is most known for its biting humor and, more specifically, for a string of cartoons that it has published about Islam and the Prophet Muhammad. This isn't the first time that Charlie Hebdo has been attacked. But for the editors of the magazine, the offense was the point. They believed that the short-term decision to avoid offense would damage French secular culture in the longer term. Secularism, or laïcité as it is called in France, is a very important part of French culture. It's even been described as a founding myth of the French Republic. And that goes far beyond the separation of church and state that we have in the United States. The magazine's cover this week appears to be a reference to the controversy over French novelist Michel Houellebecq's latest book, Submission, which is about a Muslim governing the country in accordance with the rules of conservative Islam in 2022. The magazine's final tweet before the attack was a cartoon depicting ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi offering politically correct best wishes for the holiday season. But past covers have been far more biting. In 2011, the magazine published an article guest-edited by Muhammad. After that issue was published, the magazine's office was firebombed and its website was hacked. The attackers posted a notice on the hacked site that read, "You keep abusing Islam's almighty prophet with disgusting and disgraceful cartoons using excuses of freedom of speech. Be God's curse upon you." The next week, it published a cartoon declaring love stronger than hate, showing two men kissing. Charbonnier firmly rejected the idea that the magazine should stay silent in order to prevent violence perpetrated by those who sought to silence it.
This tells me that we're right to publish the magazine, and we're right to continue defying Islamists and make their lives difficult as much as they do ours.
What I am saying may be a bit pompous, but I prefer to die standing than live on my knees, he told Le Monde in 2012. A number of cartoons have emphasized that the magazine's chief target was extremism, not Islam itself. Indeed, some of the magazine's covers suggested that the Prophet himself would take Charlie Hebdo's side in the debate. In 2010, during the debate over a controversial new law that banned French women from wearing full-face veils in public, Charlie Hebdo's cover depicted a frolicking naked woman shouting yes to wearing the burqa on the inside. No person or institution, no matter how venerable, was safe from being targeted by the magazine's satire. And after French designer John Galliano was caught delivering an anti-Semitic rant in a Paris bar,
I love Hitler. People like you would be dead.
Charlie Hebdo suggested that right-wing politician Marine Le Pen had become the new model in his studio. But the magazine that withstood so much and offended so many has finally been silenced. Today, visitors to the Charlie Hebdo website find only a single graphic. Je suis Charlie, it reads, I am Charlie. Thank you.